Earlier this year, we decided that we would take on a renovation project, converting a seasonal nursery office into a livable 600 square foot home, which we're calling the Meadow House. Sonder decided to lead that project, given both his interest and background in carpentry, whereas I would take up more of the reins on the landscaping, and all three of us would contribute to the design direction. We began doing demo about 2 months ago, and we figured we're roughly halfway through the project, so we thought we would give you an update on our progress.
Welcome to the Meadow House. There are gypsy moths everywhere. They're just flying around the air, landing on anything.
It's that time of the season.
They're even on this lumber. Maybe not this one. There was one specific board.
Oh,
yeah, you could see them here.
Yeah.
They're like, where are the leaves? Where are the leaves of this tree?
We're gonna have a really bad year with the gypsy moths.
Yep. So we are exactly in the middle of this project right now. And there's a lot that got done and there's still a lot to do. And it's a bit at that point where it gets really overwhelming and then you get really sick of a project and then you start to see the end result and then you're like, okay, let's finish it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And probably the most difficult part about this whole building thing is the project management. Like just the timing of everyone who needs to like do their thing first, then the next person needs to do their thing, then I need to do something, then something else needs to happen. So it's like this whole like coordination is like incredibly difficult. So respect to all the builders out there that do this as a job. So here's where we're at. We'll start on the exterior. We took all the siding off. And we put a shed and a chimney on the building. So let's take a look at the shed first.
I met a man who was out on his own. He chose to wander this world all alone. He said, heaven can't help me, I'm so far away from where they found me on that day.
Here we just put 2 posts in the ground and then have the rest be, supported off of that. And the idea is that we have a concrete pad here and then our AC unit is gonna sit on that. And then we just have a short line running into the house. And this has to have a certain amount of airflow, so we're gonna make sure that the sides of the shed are relatively open and clear so that this thing has space to breathe. So yeah, that's the shed. There'll be a door right here. And I made sure that the door is lined up with that dip in the roof over there. So the left side of that door is lined up with that. On this side, we're gonna have 3 shelves. So then this will be open and air can get in and out here. And basically when we have firewood for the wood stove, we could just stash it here or stash anything else there that we want. So it's really a storage space. And it makes it convenient because when you wanna get wood, you can just come out here, grab it from the side. You don't have to go into the shed or anything.
You don't have to get really wet because this is obviously covered as well.
Yeah. So speaking of the covers, we put some of the soffit boards on here. This is the pine that we got and we stained it. And I tried to keep all the knots out of it so it looks like cedar, but yeah, I think it looks kind of good. Here's one knot. That one made it in. But I also don't really mind it. It's kind of cool to have one in there or a couple. All right, so let's take a look at the chimney then. So this side of the house, like what we basically realized is that all the sides of the house except the front, it felt a little unfinished or naked. So it needed to have something. So the north side, we put the shed, which added a little bit of character to it. This side had that weird, well, both sides, but on this side we had that weird dip in the roof. So a chimney, now that the chimney is here, it really breaks that up. And it, in my opinion, makes the design a lot nicer looking. So yeah, we have a chimney and it's actually functioning as well. This will be an access door. So this is gonna go back in here, but we gotta wait for the siding to go on. So then once you have the door open, you can get in here and you can clean out the chimney, because that's very important, because a chimney fire often happens when there's too much creosote in the chimney itself, and you gotta make sure you clean it out. I'd say 2 times a year, or 1 time a year is fine too. Now then down here, we're gonna have a little access door, so we can always open up the bottom if we want to. So that's our chimney. And you know, these pipes are rated for outside. They can be fine in the elements, but it's nice to build a box for it so you don't see it, and it also protects it, so it will probably last a lot longer. So yeah, that's a chimney. And then now we're on the outside. You can also see we replaced the windows. The previous windows that were in here were vinyl windows, and it's just not ideal, like for you know, you're bumping up against it, it expands and contracts with cold. Like, these are fiberglass windows, and I think this is what we want to go with for the majority of the homes here. I did all my waterproofing here on the side, and yeah, there's plenty of really good tutorials out there online on how to do that.
And we chose the ones with the grill.
Yeah, we chose the ones with the grill inside the window because that makes it look more like a farmhouse, right?
What are we gonna do on this side, even though it's not done?
Oh yeah, so this side still feels a little like unfinished. So what we're gonna plan on this side is to put a little overhang on the door right here with the same pitch as the roof, because what happens is, like, water is gonna just hit this and it's gonna rot it away over time. So having a little bit of an overhang above your door is gonna prevent that from happening. Plus you can come out, and if it rains, you're gonna be protected. So this side will get that, and then we're also planning to put some form of a platform here or a deck where you could just walk out in the backyard and like enjoy this space. And then what we're gonna make here in between the windows is just like a grid for plants to grow up on. So
we'll have a raised bed between the walls.
Yeah, so there'll be a bit of a space here for a raised garden bed, and then we'll probably put like a grid in that. How do you call that? Pergola?
Like a trellis.
Trellis, yeah, a trellis. So put trellises between here and there, and then plants can grow up on the house without having to grow up on the siding itself. Oh, another reason why we have to put a deck here is because there's all kinds of holes in this yard. This was probably where a tree was previously.
Yeah, we're also going to be simultaneously working on the landscaping, so you could see that I have started to remove some of the barberry and dying shrubs over here, and we're just getting some more space. Sonder mowed the lawn, but my gosh, it's so leafy again.
I mowed it a couple days ago and it's already back up. So that's really insane. Now you can see here that we moved the window. You'll see that on the inside, but we moved the big window around the corner here, and then the small window that was there, we moved that into the shower. So let's go inside and see what's going on there. This is my new office space. My computer right here. So we got lots of sand for the clay. And we got some leftover concrete. Okay, so the first noticeable difference in here is that it's a lot darker now because we took those two windows out over there and filled them in. And we also took that window out for the stove. So this is where the fireplace is gonna go. So we had the pipe coming out here, curving down, and then connecting to the top of the stove. And then it's gonna basically just sit here, a big platform where it sits on. So yeah, and then we have, you know, our wainscoting. Today I'm gonna cut this off here and then put a piece of trim. And then we have this live slab edge of wood to go here in the windowsill, and that will come sticking out a little bit. And then all these walls on the inside of the window are gonna get clay plaster on them. So it will give a nice look. So I gotta still prepare the edges here, make sure that that's something that we can actually plaster on.
How do we prepare the edges?
So yeah, there's a couple different ways to do it, but first we were thinking, well, maybe we should get something like this. This is called Bullnose corner bead. It's got basically like a rounded corner. So we could put that on, but it might be too much of a radius. So we probably just like use fiberglass tape. It's this stuff, and put that on the corners, and then just pack that with drywall mud. And then we have something to grab onto with our clay. So, and then the clay basically needs, you can't really put the clay directly on wood. So what we did here with the windows is like, we bought various thicknesses of drywall, like 3/8 and 1/4. And basically, depending on the amount of space that we had between the window and the wood, the rough opening, we just filled it in with whatever space, whatever thickness was right, so that we have the same kind of distance around the whole window. And it's not like, you know, one side is like really thin and the other side is really thick. So then nothing much has changed in here except planning out the kitchen. There's a whole bunch of electric that went into this wall for the kitchen. I also got my vent pipe in for the range hood. And yeah, lots of electric. And this will be where the kitchen is. The counter will go like this and the fridge will be here. And then over here there will be a table right here, and with a light coming down. So, you know, most lights were in the right place, but only this one we had to move slightly over here, because that will be in the center of the window, and then the table will be in the center of the window, and then there will be seating around here all the way to the wall. So you can get in here this way, or you can get in here this way. That's the plan for the kitchen. And then we have that nice window over there that you can connect the kitchen to the living room with.
But still have some privacy.
Yeah, so then here now is the door. So before the door was over there, right, where this piece of drywall is. But by taking this door out, we have tons of space now for a kitchen counter. And over here, you're sleeping a little closer to the bathroom. So I'm currently working in here, but you can see the shower is already in. Most of the shower is in. So what we did is we have a little wall here to separate it, and this will be where our washer and dryer is gonna go. And then what we did, in order to create some space here as you're walking through, we curved the corner here so that you have more walking space here. Like imagine if this had to come out all the way, it would really get into your walking space. So we put this curb on, we basically just poured a concrete curb, made a form, and now we're doing our waterproofing, or we poured everything yesterday. And next step will be putting the waterproofing layer on this shower. And then over that, we can go with our Tadillac and everything else. So,
do you want to talk about the snafu with this?
So I made this whole curb together with Walt, our builder. And I didn't realize until, so we had the whole day, we figured it out, we made the whole curb, we poured everything, and at the end of the day I was done. And then I look at my drawing and I'm like, wait a second, this is an old drawing. And I basically worked off an old drawing, and the curb terminated into the wall right here. Okay, so here I am, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. We made this whole mold today and poured the concrete, and then I get back to my computer and I look at the designs and the drawings. I'm like, oh no, I forgot to include 7 inches. I forgot to add 7 inches of length to this wall. You could see it right here, what I added. And then I also discovered when coming back that the curb here was 1/2 inch too close to that wall, which would make your shower kind of narrow. So right now the shower is 3 foot by 3 foot, and then minus, so you'll have that amount of space, but minus the hardy backer that's gonna go on there, which is 1/2 inch. So you'll lose about 1 inch. So the total shower will be 35. Now then here, I just had this too short. So what happens is there's a wall here at 30 inches, and then there's like 7 more inches to this way. And what's great about that design is that you could see that that window is gonna go right there. And what will happen is that the inside of that curb right there is gonna line up with the inside of the drywall that's going on the inside of the window. So the drywall that's gonna go on the inside here. And then if you step back and you look at the door, you could see that the door, it's basically gonna be in alignment with the door as you come in. Like the window is gonna be exactly in the center of the door. Now before, the curb was over here, so that window would also go over there, making it line up like around the corner here, which I just couldn't live with. So I was looking at it, I was like, I could just do it right now instead of like waking up in the morning, because now the concrete can actually dry overnight. So that's a great thing. So learn from my mistakes. At least I now know how to do this really well. Yeah, so I basically had to redo the shower curb, which was great. I'll be able to learn how to do the concrete. So what we have now is that we have our door here. That window is exactly in the center of the door. And then it fits just within the shower here, so that when you're taking a shower here, you know, you have some shelving here for shampoo bottles and all that kinds of stuff. But you also have a huge shelf here for anything, and you can open up a window. It's gonna be a really nice experience to have natural light in the shower.
You might have to do like a glaze or a sticker on the window, but...
Yeah, we'll have to, obviously, so you can't look in.
Yeah.
But what's great is that first, the big window was over here. And it was a really weird space for the window to be. And you don't often think about, oh, just move the window. But in this case, you know, right now a towel rack can go here. It makes a lot of sense. Right now, the smaller window is looking at the road, which is not so interesting. But now the larger window is looking at the beautiful trees that were planted here, which is more interesting. Now we also have light coming from the side, so that when you're looking in the mirror here, you're gonna get light from the side and not from the back, from behind. So there was a lot of reasons for moving this in a certain way. And yeah, this is the main control station here. This will be the vanity and where the hot water heater sits. And it's also where the electric is on the other side of the wall, so.
So we did a lot of changes in this bathroom, and if you recall from the earlier videos, this closet space where the vanity and the water was taking up quite a bit of space in the bathroom, and we've been able to move one of the water pumps to the barn.
Yeah, so in order to save space, we took the big pressure tank and put it in the barn, because the barn and the house are on the same system. And that way we saved a lot of space, so we were really able to reduce the size of this unit. We can't really go on-demand hot water heater because our water comes from a well and it's hard water, so it would clog up the system. So having a tank is good. And then yeah, vanity used to be right here, but yeah, all that has now changed dramatically. So here we'll have plenty of space for storage. I put in, you know, the vent pipe you could see goes up here. It goes out the wall. And what I'm doing today is I'm building a little platform up there so I can always, you know, with a little access door on the side of the house, and that way I can always go into the attic and, you know, figure out like if there's something wrong, or pull some more cables and have them pop out the ceiling over here. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. And what else is new? Well, we have our tiles here.
Oh boy, this is another snafu.
Which got delivered to us like this. Beautiful.
In chunks and pieces.
So what we're gonna do is we have 13 tiles that are in one piece, so we're gonna use those. And then the rest we're gonna cut up in smaller pieces to kind of mosaic the rest. And
which we wanted to do anyway.
Which we wanted to do, but like, if we cut these broken tiles, there would still be a lot of waste.
We have no margin for error now.
There's no margin for error. We have to like, if we break one large tile, that's it. So yeah, I don't know what else is updated here, but.
What's next steps?
So the next steps is getting the house inspected. So the electric was finished 2 days ago. Now the inspector has to come in and make sure that all the wiring is good, because if there's ever a fire with electric, you don't want that, or you don't want fires with electric. So that's why we have an inspection done. And it's just like, it's just good to have that done. And after that's complete, we're gonna drywall all the holes, make sure the drywall is completely finished. Obviously the bathroom needs a lot of drywall. And next week we were scheduled to plaster with Mateo, but looking at the house right here, I don't think we're gonna be making that deadline. So I unfortunately didn't plan it so well that now we're gonna be like a week behind, and we have to figure out somehow how to finish this as fast as possible so that Mateo can come in here and help plaster. So yeah, it's a bit of, you know, obviously never done this before. Some of the parts I'm not even sure what's involved in doing this. So there's just gonna be things that I just don't know how to do. And as a result, we're gonna make mistakes. And there's been a couple of mistakes on this project already, but it's really good for rapid learning. And I think we're just taking our time and making sure that we're still somewhat enjoying this process, because it can be very stressful as well, especially in this time with all the prices and shortages and everything. But yeah, it's still a fun project, and seeing it come together, it's just really cool, because we designed this and we thought about this in the virtual world, and now that we're making it, like seeing things come together, like this little corner here in the shower.
That's a beautiful corner.
I mean, it just adds so much more than just a 90-degree angle right there. So what I did there, in order to make that corner, it's kind of tricky because we can't really use wood, because that's gonna potentially rot. Can't really use cement board because that's too thick. You can't just get a nice clean corner like that. So what I end up doing is, like, we ordered this shower niche from Schluter Systems, the orange stuff, and it came with this shelf. So let me show you where that shelf is. So this was a piece of foam that came with this, because basically what this niche is made out of is just this foam. And this is a little shelf that goes on the inside, but we didn't need the shelf. So what I did is I just cut 2 corners out of it, and it's nice and rigid and sturdy foam. And if we just put that in the corner with some thin set and just mashed it in there, blended it in there.
Ingenious.
Yeah, and that's how you can create a little corner. So what's fun is that there's, like, I don't think there's any better way to learn how to do this than just to go and do this. Because you're gonna run into so many little things that you just can never think about or think of. And you're gonna not know how to do things until you actually have done it. So yeah, it's cool. It's like all kinds of little things that you wouldn't think about. Like for example, we forgot lights in the shower and above the toilet, so this place would have been very dark. And our electrician pointed out, well, why don't you put some lights in the shower as well here, and one in the bathroom part of or one in the toilet part of the bathroom. So there's just a lot of things that, you know, we're learning through this process that's really enjoyable, I guess. Stay outside, stay outside. No, no. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Everybody wants to live in the Meadow house.
Yeah. Those bees and wasps definitely want to live in here.
Stay tuned for more progress on the Meadow House here on Flock. And if you're enjoying the channel, consider subscribing. We're investing 10% of our Google AdSense revenue back into this area, and that's being matched by our partners over at Espoma Organic. So your involvement makes a big difference. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.